Oh, hey, there we go. Hey, that was a really weird combination of coming in and out of here. Hey, folks, welcome. It's Wednesday, August 12th, 8 o'clock hour. My name is John Kesey. Welcome to the cool crap we love. The cool crap we love. And tonight, as usual, I'm excited. I seem to be always excited, and I'm super excited tonight, sitting here in my green screen jungle in the middle of New Jersey under a set of stairs. Tonight is really special because we have Michael Winslow coming on from all the wonderful Police Academy shows, who I'm a big fan of and have laughed at hundreds and hundreds of times. And we hope we're all doing well during these COVID times. And before we get started with some of the cool movies that we love from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, let me bring on my co-host. I think you all know who this guy is. If you haven't, he has a very unique name. Please welcome the lovely, I say lovely, Walt Papaleo is his name, I believe. Here he comes. Hey, Papaleo. Wake up. Are you okay?
How long was that intro?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
That was not 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It was. Actually, no. I had a little conflict. I had to restart the stream on there. So it went actually a minute and, another 30 seconds extra.
The Mets just played 2 innings.
It's so long. It's so old that your hair is getting gray. You're getting old.
Oh my God! I started out with dirty blonde hair. Now look at it.
Look at you.
What's up,
nice,
PD?
Nice shirt you got there. What's going on? You going to the Caribbean? What's that all about?
A little while. I'm going to be doing that all night tonight with Michael Winslow. That's a boat.
You ready for some noises? Noise effects tonight. Noises.
So Michael Winslow is going crazy. I got a feeling this show is not ending at 9 o'clock tonight.
It has to end at 9 o'clock. I have to eat dinner.
I don't think it's ending at 9 o'clock.
Oh, look at Luscious Hellborn says we're the new Ebert and Roper. What's
Mr. Roper. I think that's the guy who took over for Siskel after he had a brain aneurysm.
There you go. Oh, hey, look at
I
that.
think
You
it's
just
good.
Eddie Clark wants to know. Wow, he's calling him lovely. Yes, I called you lovely.
Eddie Clark.
Eddie Clark. Hey, so
Now,
hey,
which Eddie Clark are we getting today?
I don't know. It's the Eddie. I know Eddie. It's the Eddie I know for 100 years. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight, and I think we're supposed to be streaming to 3 different places. We're on my page right now. We're also supposed to be on Cool Crap We Loved Facebook page, as well as I believe on StrikeTV.org. However, it looks like the stream there's got interrupted, so we'll have to fix that again for next week.
Yeah, we'll just put it on there anyway. So we're going to be talking about movies and the fun movies in the 70s and 80s. And I picked out a bunch. Did you pick out any?
I didn't pick out any. As a matter of fact, I loaded up them into our stream here, and I haven't even looked at them. Normally
you'll know them all.
I was late at night, it was busy, and I just moved them all in one at a time and really didn't look at them. So now I'm going to be in the moment when I look at these movies from the 80s.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm getting a little dementia, so I've forgotten it already.
Oh, good. That's perfecto.
Yeah, so this is going to be new for me also.
But before I even show you, I want to show you this. Why am I showing you that? Because I'm like a geek.
I love Batman.
I love Batman.
I'm going to tell you right now. Me and Peasy, we want to do an entire show on the Batman series, and we are going to do it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to get like Burt Ward or Lee Merriweather or Julie Newmar. Those are like the only 3 that are living.
We'll dig up
and get them on a show.
Dig up the dead people. Bring them on.
Well, dig them up. Well, I met Adam West. I met Frank Gorshin. I did meet Lee Merriweather. And John Astin, who played the other Riddler.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
I'm very.
But I know everything about Batman. So we're going to do a show on it. I just don't want to. I don't want to waste it without having a Batman guy with us.
I totally agree with you. And probably there was, besides the original Batman, the one that I watched, the cartoony one that I watched in the 60s, which
That's
really
the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. But there was other ones. There was movies and there was
Yes.
cartoons. There was all kinds. But the original one that I liked, that introduced to us when we were kids, was the greatest.
Yeah, nobody cares about the Jack Nicholson Joker and Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, and it's all campy bull, man. I'm talking about the campiest stuff.
You might be surprised. You may be surprised. It's as surprising as that lovely shirt.
If anybody knows one of those people, please let us know so I can get in touch with them.
There you go. Well, Dave says, I met him when I was 6 years old. And he was in his full Robin outfit. How creepy is that? Did he touch you?
Yeah, David, that you might be gay.
I don't
remembering that.
Oh yeah, look, I have to thank my friend Rick Casal there. He's the reason why I have these beautiful transitions. See that transition? That's my friend Rick.
Thanks,
Casal.
Rick. Thanks for another toy.
Here's another toy I could play with from Rick. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for making us not getting the show on till 8:11. Thanks, Rick.
Hey, so before, because I want to bring on.
Pop him up.
I'm calling him. What's his name? I want to bring on Mr. Winslow. But before we even
Michael
do that,
Winslow.
Yeah,
he's gonna be crazy. He was crazy on the intro when we were talking with him.
I know. But how rude is it to say? Let me before I bring on. What's his name?
Mike.
This
he
guy
can make that sound. You don't even have to make that sound. He can do that.
I got my own right here. I got my own little thing there that I play with. Thank you, Rick. So, let's go. Let's bring up some of the first one. Here comes the first one that you sent me. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
First one you sent me. Let's talk about this one real quick. Smokey and the Bandit. Home run.
Smokey and the Bandit. You son bitch.
You son bitch.
You son bitch. It was one of the greatest lines. Jackie Gleason was the cop in that movie. The premise of the movie was, if you remember, was Jerry Reed had a truck full of Coors beer, and he was taking it to Big and Little Enos on the other side of the country.
That's right.
And he had a couple days to do it for the thing. And the Bandit, which was in the Camaro, which was Burt Reynolds, winds up picking up Sally Fields, which is left the wedding of Buford T. Justice's son, Buford T. Justice, who was Jackie Gleason, and he had some of the best lines in that movie. He had one line where he looks at his son, he goes, "You know, son, Remind me to punch your mama in the mouth when we get home.
Yeah, yeah. What a great! It was. It's a great. It was a great movie, and she's adorable. Who plays
Frog?
Yeah, Frog. He called her Frog, but she's cute as hell. Was it? Now, what was her name?
Sally Field.
Yeah, just check. I see you're on your game over there. And
but she's, it's so funny. It's so funny why he called her Frog. She goes, "Why are you calling me Frog?" Because they all had CB names. He was Bandit. Right. I forgot. The other guy was what the fuck? What was his name? Snow. Cletus Snow was his name. But anyway, he Bandit. So he named her Frog. And she goes, "Why'd you name me Frog?" He goes, "Because I want to jump you."
Too, what was cool about, I remember in that movie, that song was really popular back in the 70s when like down,
we gonna do things that can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Stop you right there. Please, I'm gonna stop you right there. Look, we just lost 13 people as you started saying.
Sorry, come on back. What's the next movie?
That was a great movie though. Number 2 and 3 of them were great too. The ones that followed after, they were really great. And the first one was the best. I liked them all. Matter of fact, what's his name was in one of the second and third one where they had the one with the big elephant. They had to move the elephant across the country. The really funny comic from Brooklyn, New York, born on 68th Street and 10th Avenue.
Who was it?
DeLuise.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, Dom DeLuise, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in that's one of the movies I didn't pick, Cannonball Run, which was great.
All right. Movie number 2, moving along. Here you go.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Awesome movie.
It's a great movie.
Actually, we could do a whole show on that.
Yes, he goes to somebody steals his bike, and he goes to a what do you call it, a fortune teller, and he has to go cross country to find his bike.
Yeah,
great. But it's hilarious. He's like a little kid.
And what happened to him was really, really sad with the whole movie.
Yeah. It wasn't sad while he was doing it, but the repercussions were pretty bad.
Well, he made a ton of dough, and it's even more interesting. I'd love to interview him. He'd be like a really fun.
He's a creepy guy, man.
I don't think he's creepy. I think he's I think brilliant. These people that are brilliant geniuses are really creepy because they're brilliant. When you really for instance, I mean, look at the people
sat in his basement with puppets and stuff like that.
But look at the people that are in. I'm looking at the chat right now. You don't think Stacy SS, David Merlin, Luscious Hellborn are like crazy people? Merlin, they're all crazy people.
For watching us, of course they are.
If there wasn't COVID going on right now, they'd be out playing ball and killing people. But instead,
no, they'd be right here.
You're probably right.
So
Porky, another great movie. By the way, why is it 2020? We don't see. I don't laugh at I used to laugh at these movies. I feel
like this, man.
Are we being an old curmudgeon when we turn around and say, "Oh, only the old movies are great"? I mean, there's lots. I mean, compared,
no,
80s and 90s are great. They were great movies. This was great, and so was the sequel.
Well, Porky's 2, the next day, wasn't that great, but Porky's Revenge was good. The third one.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But this one here, if you were watching this like I was watching this, and you were probably the same age, about 3 years older, the shower scene that they're showing here was exactly why you watch this movie time and time again, because there were naked broads running all over the place. One of the guys put his little pee-pee through the hole.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, and Miss Ballbricker, if you remember her, Miss Ballbricker, grabbed it.
But the funny thing about this, look at this. It says, "Porky's, you'll be glad you came," and there's an eyeball looking at the naked woman. Now, in 2020, to come up with a cover that says you're glad, with all the crap going on today,
you could not do that.
Yeah, not anymore.
Antifa would be after us.
Who is Antifa? I met her. I met Uncle Tifa. Who's Antifa? Hey, this next one up is one of my damn favorites. One of my darn favorites.
I had to pick this, man. It was remade, which I didn't think it was that great, but this one here was great with Gene Wilder.
The remake was horrible. It didn't.
But think about it, man. Think about it. When you get lucky with something, right, or something goes your way, what does somebody say to you?
Yeah, they always try to reinvent.
You got a golden ticket.
Yeah,
you got a golden ticket. This is where that saying came from.
You're right. But more importantly, as a kid, I grew up watching this as a child, and I remember it was magical It was magical to see this guy. It was a ton of money that had these ethics and did everything cool, and the music was beautiful. And as like an 8-year-old kid watching this, it's magical to you. It's because you're not involved in the world. There's no such thing as Trump and Kamala Harris and all the shit that's going on in the world that we have today. That didn't exist.
Nothing like that, man.
Pure magic. You're in a magical world. This impressed me. As a matter of fact, I played this music when I've done shows for families and stuff, and the adults will go, "Oh, I love that. Oh, I remember that," and the kids, they have no clue. They don't remember.
Yeah, this was the best. I mean, at the beginning, you put up with the beginning when Charlie he thinks he wins a ticket and he doesn't win a ticket. He fakes it, and then he winds up getting a real ticket to go. So what they did was they put 5 tickets in Wonka candy bars, and whoever came up with a golden ticket was able to go for a tour of the factory. But you could walk in the factory and see a table and start eating it because it was like a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, and I watched a documentary several months ago on YouTube about this. They had the whole entire cast go back to Germany or something, to the factory where this was all shot. And, they tell you what they're doing for a living now, and who became an actor, who became a mom, and all these things.
Charlie's like a vet.
Yeah, he's a veterinarian in upstate New York or something.
Yeah, I tried that. I'm reaching out to him because we could do a whole thing on this with Charlie.
I could be an Oompa Loompa. If my hair,
there you go. You could. You know what? He's onto something there.
If my hair gets any thinner, I'm sure that'll happen.
But this was a great movie, man, and this is right there with The Wizard of Oz.
Agreed. Totally agreed. I'd watch anytime. Next one up, real quickly. Yeah, I gotta say, Walt, you pick good movies. Very good movie. Yeah.
It's a great movie, man. This is excellent. This is one of Matthew Broderick. After he did War Games, I think this was his next movie. But this was just the guy was taking the day off, and everybody was trying to catch him, and they couldn't. He was too smart.
How many times did you watch this movie?
I have probably watched this movie 75 times.
Yeah, probably me too. 40 times, 30 times. Seen it like back in the 80s, 90s, whatever it was, over and over again. Like it was always on HBO. I just watched over. It was great.
Brought the song "Twist and Shout" back into fame.
That's correct.
They were dancing in Chicago.
Give you another one. Good, very good. All right, moving right along because I don't want to take away from Winslow's time.
Banging them out.
Moving right along. Here we go.
Another one.
Everything you picked tonight has been home run.
Home run. Animal House. I had to be sneaked into the theater. I wasn't old enough to get here. Me and my friend David went to see this movie, and we asked the couple in front of us to say we were their kids, and they took us into the movie. But this was there was a couple questionable scenes, but the best scene was when Bluto, which was John Belushi, went up on the window and he was watching the girls change. And again, you got to see boobies.
Yeah. Why is it that every little boy is always worried or concerned about nothing but one thing, candy and boobs?
Hey, I watched the movie 10. I watched the movie 10 on Womeco Home Theater, squiggling, seeing if I could catch a nipple.
Yeah. I'll give you one now for free. 2020.
Everybody got a nipple for me?
It's funny, too, though. You mentioned that, though, because I remember Womeco as well. That was another one of those...
Womeco Home Theater, yeah.
Womeco Home Theater, yeah. Animal House too. This was like this changed, I think, the directions of movies because there was what was it, American Pie, which was one of those early.
That was later.
Was it later?
Yeah.
Because I think this changed the direction of comedy movies. I think this too, and then Ghostbusters later, and all that kind of stuff.
This was everybody. Every wedding you go to, they play the Otis Day and the Night song. What is that? Shout, you make me want to shout. So every frat house in college modeled themselves after this. Everybody was fighting for the name Delta House.
Delta House, yep. That's right. See, the people are seeing now all these names that they're bringing up here, Doug and everyone else. I agree. These are all. I hope you have them on this list, but we'll find out here in a quick second. Let's see. Next one coming up is Big. Great movie.
Big.
I don't think it holds up as well as like Willy Wonka, but It was a
No.
great movie. It was great.
Josh Baskin. Now, they were great premise, man. That Josh Baskin wished he went to one of those Zoltar machines, wished he was big because he was getting picked on for being little, and he turns into Tom Hanks, the pedophile.
How did you remember
sorry,
the name? How did you remember? Did you? You can't say the word Josh. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I got carried away with today's news.
Hey!
But anyway,
this guy is a citizen of Greece right now. I don't know what you're doing.
He is.
Yes,
he's a citizen of Greece. But this was great. This was, who's we call Robert Loggia. Him, and this is where they in FAO Schwartz they danced on the piano and did what was it, Chopsticks?
And that became like the biggest thing in the catalogs when you get them in the mail for Christmas. Remember, they had those like what's that catalog that comes, the Hamlick Schlemmer or whatever, and like everyone's buying that the keyboard you could go up and down and play the music.
Keyboard. Yeah. Probably broke after the third time you did it.
Yeah,
Some fat guy did it, broke the F key, and it was done.
The electronics was young back then. It was different than it is now. So much.
But anyway, I thought that was good enough to put on the list.
It's good. It's a good one. All right, next one coming up. Ready? It is.
Yep.
Oh, Arthur. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's a great movie.
I'll tell you something else. I really enjoy not knowing what's coming up and seeing it for the first time rather than like having to think about it. Yeah. This is another thing that changed behavior in our history in America. I mean, this guy was huge. He was huge after these movies.
He was a drunk and what the hell was the girl's name? Susan was Liza Minnelli, and then he got drunk one time and he rang the wrong doorbell and my husband Perry, and he's like, don't you just hate Perry's wife?
That's the worst impression of Dudley Moore I've ever heard in my life.
But drunk, don't you just hate Perry's wife?
See, everyone's saying they all loved it. Everyone loved the Arthur.
Loved Arthur.
And this is right. I hope
somebody challenged me. The Jerk is on there, by the way.
It should be. It's right up there. Right up there.
Go ahead. So Arthur was a winner with Dudley Moore, Liza Minnelli, and Sir John Gielgud.
And then a bunch of stuff happened with Arthur. Apparently something happened where at the end where he started having issues with his health as he started getting age. I remember all of that, like people like always talking about it.
He was tiny. Yeah. Dudley Moore was like 4'8".
He was beloved. Very beloved. Very, very beloved. All right, next coming up, not wasting any more time. Let's see. Next coming up is Police Academy. Hey, wait a minute.
No, that's wrong.
It's the wrong one?
Come back to that one.
All right, we'll come back.
Come back to that one.
How about that one?
Arthur, no.
Actually, I have Police Academy in there. All right. Next one coming up.
Brewster's Millions. You don't know it.
Never. I mean, I heard of it. Never watched it.
Now think of this. Richard Pryor is playing for a baseball team. He's in a will. They're going to leave him $300 million in the will if he could spend $30 million. I believe it's in a month. $30 million without acquiring an asset.
I faintly, I must have seen this. I faintly remember this, and it was a big movie. I don't recall it. Like, I'm going to rewatch that tonight when I'm falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah, it will put you to sleep. But it's great, the ideas he comes up with, like renting furniture and renting clothes. And, he wasn't spending the money quick enough, so he bought a really rare stamp and wrote a letter and put it on the envelope. So, he has no assets. So it was really cool how he was trying to get rid of the money without acquiring an asset. It's very hard to do.
Yeah, I would actually like to watch that now.
Vote for none of the above.
Yeah,
so that was how he got rid of most of his money. He didn't like the candidates that were running, so he spent all advertising money on vote for none of the above.
Good line. That's how we got Luscious. Funny you're watching Pryor freebase. Okay.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah, way too soon now. Here it is. One of the greatest movies ever. Yeah, one of the great. There was so many great.
Movie, I can watch this all the time.
But all the line to this day, I mean, those great lines that were written in this movie, they were so funny. I remember like
Shirley, you can't be serious.
Don't call me Shirley. Like the simple 1-2 punchy type humor that was written into this, and the characters are really strong. Great movie, and I could watch it over and over to this day.
Just the automatic pilot, an actual blow up doll came out, and they had a nun reading boy's life, and then they had a little boy reading nun's life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy. It's a great
Slapstick
movie.
humor.
If you haven't seen that, you suck.
Everyone's seen that movie. How about Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters, it was a good movie. It was a good movie.
Great
I've seen
movie.
this a lot of times.
It took those guys from Saturday Night Live and even blew them out bigger. I mean, it was a huge phenomena. It really was. As a matter of fact, I just recently caught the last half of the newest one where they use it to all girls and everything. It was nasty. It wasn't really that good. Again, lightning strikes once in the same place. You try to get it twice. It's kind of ridiculous sometimes, but sometimes it's really hard to pull that off for some reason. Times change, people change, and
just like the character. They had Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. What was his name? The guy was in Stripes with him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Not Ivan Reitman. He wrote it. What was his name?
Actually, hit your head a little harder. I want to see that one more time.
Slapstick. Brian, I almost put Slapstick up there, but I knew John doesn't like sports movies.
Let's just move it along because I have Michael already inside the green room here.
Okay.
So move along really quickly. This is I have mixed feelings about this. Okay, so go ahead.
This is the word, man. I've seen this, and this is a movie I'll never shut off. And sadly enough, I know the words to all the songs in the movie.
So you really like the movie?
I do. Every time I go to a drive-in, I sing Sandy to myself out by the swings.
Was your hand in your crotch? Well,
I do.
That explains why you're wearing that shirt.
It's a great movie, man. They were in the same school. They were in love with each other in Australia. And they come back, and they're back in the States, and he doesn't know she's coming back, and she winds up in the same school, and he's singing on one side of the school, she's singing on the other side, and it's going together. I mean, it's brilliant.
I will tell you, Olivia Newton-John was hot as hell, and her in that black spandex pants, walking around singing to him with the two-tone blonde hair.
Tell me about it, stud.
Hot. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really, really.
She was. Hot. She was hot when she was the nerd. She was a cheerleader nerd. Great movie.
It's a great movie. I just trying to, I don't know. When I was younger, I remember thinking, oh, that's like a girl movie. I remember thinking that in my head. Now I've watched it. I enjoy it because
I'm trying to get Dee Dee Khan or one of the Pink ladies or to come on and do a show on Grease.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple more before Mike comes on.
Okay. Hi, John and Walt. 1980 is my first Rocky movie. I watched it on a cruise on TSS Carnival. I like when Rocky was the only think about Adrian said, I love you at the end of the movie. Well, thank you, William Huber.
Yeah. He's, what? Is there any way you can drop him off of this broadcast?
Listen,
Raymond, that's the guy.
I want to thank you. That's right. I want to bring on these other. There's several more movies here, but I see Michael Winslow in the green room making all kinds of things with a. He's freaking out. He's doing. I wish I could show you this right now. As a matter of fact, I probably could show you this right now. He's got an octopus and he's pushing it in front of the camera, bouncing around the music. He's like, I think he had too much coffee, so I'm going to bring him. I think we should just skip it. We'll bring him on next week. Not him next week. We'll do more of them these next week when we have Halloween on.
Bring him on.
So we'll bring him on. So just real briefly about this guy. Okay. Just to say this, I'm going to cut you out of that for a second. Just to bring this up, Michael Winslow has the ability to make realistic sounds using only his voice. He's best known for his roles in all 7 Police Academy films as Larville Jones. I hope I'm saying that correct. He also appeared in Spaceballs, Cheech and Chong's Next Movie, The Love Boat, commercials for Cadbury and Geico. After finding huge success in Police Academy, Spaceballs, and other 1980s cult comedies, Michael Winslow carved a niche for himself in Hollywood as the man of 10,000 voices. And by the way, on the internet, people say 10,000 voices. Some people say 10,000 sounds. I'm looking forward to asking that. He turned his live performance, Winslow, and sold out shows in Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and over the past few years, reviving an old-style sound effect comedy with beatboxing mixed with comedy. And speaking with him tonight, we'll only capture half of his whole story. That is true. Please
John,
welcome.
bring him
Ready?
up. I want to tell you one story real quick before you bring him on, because I got a feeling we're not going to get a word in. But right, he and I got to ask him this, and he's probably listening now. But is it true that a band, their guitar player did not show up, Michael, and they called you and you came down and did their entire set as the guitar? That's what I want to know. That was the rumor that I had heard. Bring on Michael Winslow, and we need to answer this.
And here we go.
That's
Ready?
me.
Michael,
That's
welcome.
me and you.
Here he is.
Mouse, 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 mouse. Get out of here!
He's
Sorry
good.
about that, yo. I got a mouse in the house.
Michael, thank you for coming on. Did you hear that question?
The question was, did I ever fill in for a guitar player
Yes.
when they got in trouble, or the legend, the story legend is that apparently it was this microphone a little closer. The story is that the guy got arrested or something, and they couldn't make bail for him at the right time to get him out, so they had me come in. Well, that's kind of true. The way I can't remember it, he was drunk. So I came in and did most of his stuff, and he recovered. He kind of collected himself towards the end of the set and was able to come in and finish. But yeah,
Okay.
that happened. That's like in the 80s. The story that was similar to that, but is with me and Eddie Van Halen.
That's pretty good company.
Eddie and I did the NAMM show together, where we had this rehearsal room with an elevated stage, with a huge stack of amplifiers, Seymour Duncan basses and everything else, and they had a set of drums and set up a bunch of instruments, and people could come in and jam whatever they wanted to. So it was me with my microphone and a stack of Marshalls, Eddie with his guitar and a stack of Marshalls and Kramers. John Entwistle from the Who came in. Let's see. A bunch of drummers came through, and it was just
name dropping.
loud. It was just loud as hell. Now, remember, they could use me to get rid of. Do you have pests in your house?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I tell you what, you get some speakers. Get some speakers and put them in the basement, and then just turn them up all the way and play hip hop and thrash metal. Mrs. Mouse and her friends will leave. She and her family will move out after about 2 hours.
I might leave.
Or you'll get a city violation. You might get shot.
I'm out in the jungle here. I'm not going to hear anything here. As a matter of fact,
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in New Jersey. Is there a video of this Van Halen thing that you're speaking about?
I don't know. There might have been. There might be. You just never know. You never know. When it comes to noises, it is what it is. Now, you're out in New Jersey, so you're not by the beach, right?
Not far.
All right. How about this?
I fall asleep to that every night on my Alexa. How do you know you could do that?
That's bizarre.
Hey, Seal, love your records.
That's unbelievable. That's amazing.
That was bro. That was Police Academy 3 you just saw.
Actually, we did open one academy on the beach where Mahoney tore all the patches off his uniform on a ATV. As a matter of fact, they did do a beach scene.
Actually, I
did one truck over something.
I have a clip of him up here doing that as well. If you wanted to see it, but hey, more importantly, this is bizarre to me. I'm a ventriloquist, so I use the vocals to produce a voice from inside out, from the diaphragm out, and you'll make different sounds. Like you'll take a sound like like hello, you'll get a deep one or a nasally sound or whatever. In your business, making sounds, it seems like some of the sounds that you make is impossible to come from the human larynx. It doesn't make any sense how you're able to reproduce such really strange things. Have you ever had any experience with ventriloquism with all the vocal sounds you can make?
I have. I had given it some thought. I'd given it some serious thought of ventriloquism, and for a while I was playing with it. But when I saw how badly Hollywood treated ventriloquists.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when I make noises, that's bad enough. I'm a minority. That's also bad enough. You know, I mean, come on, man. They're getting mad at me because I'm making noises on stand up night at the Comedy Store in 1978. So they're looking at me like, and the improv same reaction. But I didn't get on until 2 o'clock in the morning. But I can tell you what, it brought people inside.
Yeah, people love novelty, but
they didn't like it. It wasn't traditional stand up back in the day.
Yeah,
and we're talking about 19 around there.
Yeah, yeah, I heard what you said.
Yeah, but things evolved. I mean, I used to go on. There was a radio station in Pasadena, California, that all the surfers listened to. It was called KROQ, and I used to go on there with one of the on-air personalities who got suspended because he couldn't talk. So I had to take over and do all the talking for him. But I would slide beatbox tracks underneath popular music, and people thought it was real drums. They're going, "Who's the DJ?" I would do stuff to people all the time, man. I would see. Remember, I don't get sales calls ever. You know why I don't get sales call? Yeah, you call me. Housekeeping. They're not gonna mess with me.
No.
That's great. And now, what about voices you want? What about voices?
I love Foley work, because I used to watch westerns and watch movies. I'm one of the few improv people who could actually hold his own. And if you were trying to improv a movie, I could do a western. Because there's whole sections where it's all just horses and just people chasing and shooting at each other. I can keep that going. Have them arguing over bacon. Have them arguing over bacon while they're. You better pull over there, son. Not till I get me some Wendy's.
That's so racist.
See, John, you thought you had a setup over there, PZ.
No, it's amazing to me. I got my own little clicker. I do my own sound, but I don't make them. It's pretty impressive. But it's funny because he's not only is he doing sounds, he's also doing voices and character work as well. Then with all of that, I used
to watch the stuff on TV, man. When I was a kid, it was the Copycats. Copycats with Frank Gorshin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about Frank Gorshin and Fresh Travelina
and the Rowan and Martin's laughing, man. We're talking about stuff and scripted TV that made no damn sense. I mean, the Monkeys made no sense at all. It does now, but back then, see, you have to understand. I was watching Star Trek where Shatner had hair.
Yeah,
we're talking about 19 around there, and all the weird stuff that they would throw on TV to try to fight with Star Trek or fight with Bonanza or fight with Walt Disney World, Wonderful World of Disney. So they had stuff like Captain Nice, where if this guy drank a potion that turned him into a superhero for 30 minutes. Sometimes he would get it wrong. He'd be a superhero, but he smelled like hamburger. So every dog. It works, but I smell like hamburger.
That dog sound is like so great. That dog sound is like so awesome. Like,
oh man, I could piss off the dogs next door so much, but I have to use sounds. I gotta use them for good. I can't use them for bad things. I really can't.
How many sounds can you really do? I mean, off the top of your head, can you really just pull them out of your head? Like, if somebody gives you one that's really deep, is something buried, or there's some that
some stuff takes a long time. Some stuff takes a long time, and some stuff you have to work with in the studio to get, like specific sounds, specific Foley noises, are going to take a while. So I'll go in the studio for an hour and work on it. Whereas, some stuff where they ask you to just come in at the last minute, you find a way to do things. Because one of the things I never got a credit for was I did a fly noise in Popeye.
Okay.
The Robin Williams one.
Yeah, great movie.
Okay.
Which they shot in Malta. There was a whole scene where Bluto or somebody was trying to kill a fly inside of a bar, and they had me do this fly noise. And it was my first time even setting foot on a giant Foley stage. And I had to think about it. It took me an hour to figure that out, but I got it because I needed the money because I was living in my car, man.
Wow.
And then flash forward a few years later, I'm Michael J. Fox's feet in Back to the Future Part 3.
Bizarre.
Flash forward again in a giant soundstage, but this time I knew my way around. And they just finished the scene. They just finished the scene.
When the sneakers that self-closed?
The pump, the Reebok pumps back in the 80s when they
I remember those. Yeah.
Michael Fox had a pair of those on. He was in the bar, and Biff or Tanner and his boys are going, "What's your name, boy?"
I'm Clint Eastwood.
"What in the hell kind of stupid name is that?" "Dance, boy."
I remember that.
So
I do.
That was in the old West.
He did a whole Michael Jackson, Billie Jean pirouette thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And
He did. They were shooting at him.
Like he's lost his like he's lost his damn mind. Well, I was the feet.
That's amazing.
Wait a minute. So you did the moonwalk. So when they shot to his feet doing the moonwalk when they were shooting the bullets at him, you were the feet?
Correct. That's what.
I wish I would have.
You'd be surprised the stuff people ask you for, man. Spielberg asked me to come in and do the feet. Just the feet, because they just dismissed the orchestra. They just finished the last scene with the train flying over the street. They just finished that.
Yeah.
But now they didn't have time because a Foley stage with all the stuff would take an hour and a half to set up. So they had me come in and do his feet. And I listened to the original soundtrack. Michael was beatboxing Billie Jean. He was doing the whole Billie Jean thing, and you could hear it, and you could tell this was no, the censor's not going to clear that. No way in hell. So I listened to the track, listened to what they wanted, and I snuck the beatbox track back in. I put it back. I put Michael J.
Didn't know that.
And nobody knew it.
Now I got to look at it because I didn't think he did it that good.
So I put that back in there. I put the, and that's when he hit the spittoon. Gets Biff. "You little gutter snap," and his gun jammed.
Wow.
"You better run, squirrel!" Out the door he went.
I hear it. Like as he's doing it, I can see the picture of it in my mind. It's amazing how ingrained it is in your head.
But you'd be surprised the stuff they ask you for. I mean, one of my first voiceover jobs ever was for Hanna-Barbera. I was the voice of an astromite.
Get out of here. You work with
I don't even know what that is.
And astromites, little tiny two little bugs, man. They kind of fly around on the ship, and they have little helmets on, and it was part of the teen force. It was really, yeah. I was glad to have a Hanna-Barbera job because it got me more jobs later because it took some time to build, and you had to take what little job you had, man, and use it as a portfolio. Even if it was stupid, you used it.
But when you were a kid growing up with this, your parents, you've probably been asked this a million times, and I don't want to be repetitive or even redundantly asking the same questions because we want to ask you other things that are really offbeat. But as a kid growing up, you had to be annoying to your parents trying to mimic all these sounds, right? And
yeah, we lived on an Air Force base.
Yeah. Now, what did you? Now,
Already a bad idea.
As a kid, what were you watching? What was like? I can't wait to see this. As a kid, I wanted to see the Pink Panther. I wanted to see Popeye. What were you watching?
The Pink Panther cartoons, but for me, it was the Skyhawks. It was Dick Dastardly and Muttley. It was
great.
The Wacky Racers.
Yeah.
It was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Told you,
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Wacky Racers.
And it was Dudley Do-Right. But Rocky and Bullwinkle were sick because people thought they were making political commentary, and they weren't. And then we had Johnny Quest.
Great.
And then you have to understand these cartoons all played the Wacky Racers were great. And then they had Tom Slick. And then the Beatles had a cartoon.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Produced by Al Bordax. I remember that. I remember because they had a picture of him smoking just the cigar, flicking an ash as the executive producer. And there was a guest cartoon in the Beatles cartoon called Cool McCool.
Oh,
which is quite possibly where Gadget came from.
Yeah, I
don't remember it.
That. Cool McCool. Danger was his business.
Yeah, I do remember that. It's funny when you say Dick Dastardly and that dog laugh. That dog laugh. Yeah.
Hey, do something.
Motley.
Yeah, man.
Muttley.
That's Muttley in my head. I'm sorry, but it does.
Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
Yeah, what a great laugh. It was like $1 million laugh. $1 million laugh. What about like there was also Penelope Pit Stop. I remember in that show.
Pit Stop, and then also we had We had Stingray, Supercar, and Thunderbirds to the Rescue. Also.
Oh wow, yeah, you're pulling them out. You're really pulling them out.
And the original one, that's from Jerry Anderson in the 1960s. Because when that stuff's coming out, the first one was Fireball XL5 with the rocket motors.
Yep.
Fireball XL5.
Yeah, man, I'm cool as hell.
He's going deep. People don't remember. A lot of people won't remember.
It was cool. Supercar was so British. It was just so, oh my god.
Dude, can you imagine bringing this guy to a party?
But then
it's terrific.
And Danger Mouse gave reason for us to have the real Danger Mouse in real life, who produced Gnarls Barkley. But in order for him to beat Danger Mouse, he had to watch Danger Mouse, a British cartoon. We had Mighty Mouse in the US. We had Danger Mouse in England. You should check it on YouTube.
I certainly will. And what did you eat as far as candy as a kid growing up on the base?
Well, Charms had sweet and sour pops, but Tootsie Roll Pops were the big thing because they had the wise Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, oh, how many licks did it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? A good question. 1, 2, 3. Kids going, asshole.
That's Daniel Miller's favorite candy, by the way. Tootsie Pops.
Those were great, man. And now they have giant ones, which is more trouble for a kid to even get his mouth around it.
Yeah. Mike, we did a whole show. We did 2 whole shows on just candy we ate back in the 70s and 80s when we were kids.
Michael, what about toys when you were a kid? What was the thing that you were playing with? I mean, there was Stretch Armstrongs, there were Action Jackson.
We had Big Wheels.
Oh yeah.
And what would happen is the big wheel on the big wheel would wear out, and we take a saw and cut it in half and take the 2 back wheels that are still good and stick them on an A-frame and have like a 4-wheel big wheel. You used to cut those bad boys off, man, because the rear wheels wouldn't wear out first.
No,
you never got in trouble.
And we also had Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels was big. Motorific was big. Creepy Crawlers. Susie Homemaker was giant.
Yeah. What about the Evil Knievel?
Cool as hell. And Hot Wheels Sizzlers.
Well, that's what it was. Sizzlers. So Sizzlers was the Evil Knievel, where you put the thing and pull it, and the wheel would go.
Electric toy car was called the Sizzler.
Oh, Walt, what you're talking about with that pull thing? I had that too. I thought.
Oh, no. You plugged it into a little tiny gas pump that had batteries in it, and it would recharge the little electric car. And you unplug it and turn it on. It would just go around the track until it ran out of power. It was the first toy electric car that I remember. It was called Hot Wheels Sizzler. And I know some of y'all gonna check it out, but you'll see them. And the commercials for Sizzlers were cool.
I kind of faintly remember this. I also remember
them too.
Johnny Lightning. Remember that?
Yeah, they were competitors.
A plastic track where you put the car in on top, and there was a thing that you pull really hard, and it zips around the track and comes all the way up back to the top again. Then you have to pull it
and back down again.
Yeah,
and then the plastic mold things that always start fires and stuff. Creepy crawlers,
butterflies.
Creepy Crawlers, man.
Creepy Crawlers was great.
And then there was an edible version called Incredible Edibles, and that's what started the problem. Because they had problems delineating. But we also had Spider Graph, which was cool as hell. And Light Brights, man.
Right.
We had a whole show on Light Bright, man. That was great. Man.
So that was great. Every song was on a Light Bright.
I can tell how old
Spider Graph was cool.
But everything he's saying, I know his age because I can tell his age just from exactly the items he's saying.
Well, Light Brights sucked when you ran out of the patterns that went behind the black pig board.
And you had to make up your own stuff and put your own. Mom would get that cheap paper over at Walgreens or CVS, and you go ahead and you just put that in there. He goes, now draw your own stuff. When I gotta take the little holes, I gotta look in between those little holes and stuff. Come on, Mom.
Michael, I have all these people asking questions. Of course, it's about Police Academy. What is life like today after Police Academy for you?
Well.
You do stand up.
I keep thinking about the time I was working at this restaurant, in the 70s, late 70s. It was called Poppy Star, and me and a friend of mine named Dave Bloom. I was his assistant waiter, and John Lennon came in, and he was having his wild weekend. You know, when he disappeared for a while, he showed up in L.A. And one of the things that John said to my friend, I was standing there as he was walking out. He gave him this huge wad of cash because he was really happy. He goes, "Life is what happens when you're making other plans."
Yeah.
So life is what happened. Because and another there's an animated friend of mine named the Ant-Man comedian. He drew a thing that's on my Instagram. It's called, "If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans."
Yeah, it's the truth.
And so it's plans have changed. Everything is completely different. And I hope you all understand that we are passing through and experiencing life through historic events.
Absolutely.
We are experiencing historic events.
As a matter of fact, I go into gigs now, I lick everyone when I walk in. It's the first thing I do.
Even better. Even better. You know what? You'll be popular at certain clubs. I'll tell you how different stuff is. I mean, I just saw the news article about the gentleman's club that has to have border guards, and everybody's hips and everybody's butts have to have butt guards, and yeah,
butt guards.
Yeah, you can already see that this is like a really bad Pluto Nash. and those of y'all that never saw Pluto Nash, you understand. The Eddie Murphy movie, Pluto Nash. Damn, I want the Green Hornet and shit.
No, and we're in the studio. We want you to do Pluto Nash.
That's pretty good. That's damn good. That's really good.
That is right. I remember that movie.
That's so awesome. Then, do you think that first of all, do you think
everything's different now for me?
Well, do you think comedy has changed
differently? Pretty much.
What about the humor between? I mean, I know. Listen, I've been every club in the country, and everywhere I've been, I've seen your 8x10 out there. You've been there the week before or after coming up or whatever. We never ran into each other on the road. But my question to you is: do you think we've crossed the line in comedy today versus where it was in the 80s and 90s? I mean, what do you think?
We are a script that is still being written. That's what we are at this moment.
How do I have you respond? I can't respond to that because it's too thoughtful. It's too much.
We are still trying to figure out how to break the rules in an organized manner. we're still trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out.
Can't do it now
because when I've done a couple of venues since this whole thing started where it's social distance.
Yeah,
where we had to sit there and take a measuring tape and measure everything and distance the people, distance the audience, and then distance the stage and distance me on the stage from the front row. We had to do a lot of stuff. We decided to add extra feet. It went through a whole. It was an entire process. The world has changed, and an open. See, lack of an open mind will get you a closed casket.
He's full of. You're full of metaphors tonight. That's what it's
my
so
Lord.
Cool.
Closed mind will get you a closed casket. Let's put it that way.
I hear you. And my favorite line is
be Bugs Bunny fast. you better be Carnation Rabbit. you better be fast.
Do you think now with all the hyperness and all the voices, did your mom think maybe, oh, this kid's got OCD or he's like spectrum?
He's still on the pills.
I probably had SpectraVision syndrome before they even had it.
Speaking of which, do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
That was Viewmaster. That was a Viewmaster.
Hell, they're back.
Yeah, they're
back. And here's why I keep thinking of that song from All That Jazz. Everything old is new again. Cassettes are back, and not only are cassettes back, vinyl is back.
Yes.
Oh yeah, vinyl's been back for a while though. That's been back for a while.
And that's where I'm going. I'm going to put out records and put out noises on vinyl. So that's what I'm heading.
You pick up every sound.
You know what I hope doesn't come back? Laser discs. You keep those.
I still have my laser disc of all the Star Wars stuff. I even have an old Robert Townsend movie with Denzel Washington called The Mighty Quinn.
Wow. Oh. Wow. There's a question how
it was a Denzel Washington movie where he was a Jamaican chief of police. And
I don't remember.
Denzel Washington was the criminal. He had $3 million that the CIA wanted, and they're chasing him. His name is Mal B. And Cheryl Lee Ralph is in it. She's the chief's wife. And they've broken up and people are on the island. They're looking for it's called The Mighty Quinn. It was different, but see those obscure movies. And then the last Starfighter I had on. Oh,
that was a great movie.
On
Laserdisc.
What are you watching That's a good question. What do you watch?
I watch a little bit of everything. You know, I put the news on, turn the sound off, and play something else that's completely not related.
Just that's the best way to judge
Try
people.
it. Try it. Put on the news and run smooth jazz or old school 1930s jazz.
I actually listen to what do you call it, jazz? I'm a big fan of this Baja lady, and she does basically a Latin jazz kind of stuff.
Oh, samba.
Hmm?
Samba.
Yes, yeah, it's samba and all that kind of stuff. Hey, there was a question here that says, "How was it fun working on the set of Spaceballs?"
Sorry, I was about to do some samba.
Oh, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was about to do samba. Sorry. Baseballs was great. I was about to go.
A sampler.
That's awesome. You know what I give you for that?
Hey, Mike, what kind of voices can you do? What kind of impersonations?
Well, I picked the technical and earthly elements realm because nobody does it. Some voices I do, but some voices I won't do because everybody else does them. So there's no originality there. So I picked the most obscure, weird stuff that still has what you call a social crossover appeal. So I'll do weird stuff.
What is the inspiration for them?
I have a slightly sick sense of humor.
Love it.
So I can't help.
Yeah, we couldn't have picked. I didn't pick that up.
Watching that, watching some of that weird stuff that came out. Let's see. Well, I used to listen to a lot of the old Cheech and Chong records, but before then, there was the Fire Sign Theater. They were college level stuff, and you see, I used to get in trouble for reading National Lampoon magazine. Now, I got in trouble for bringing that to school. That magazine cover that had, "If you don't buy this magazine, we're gonna shoot this dog."
Yeah.
And people thought it was a real dog, and they got in so much trouble for that. And they were just downright wrong. And then Firesign Theater was college stuff. Then Harvard Lampoon, then National Lampoon, then Animal House came out.
Yep.
So
we just talked about that.
And then we had cartoon books besides the Cheech and Chong records. We had the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, and it was a hippie cartoon, which you can find online if you dig through it. The Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and the spinoff, which was called Fat Freddy's Cat,
Wow.
which is great because so that stuff affected me. Excuse me, I just realized my little Siri thing is coming on. Excuse me, please hook up battery, or you're gonna lose your. Oh, excuse me. Keep talking.
He's got to go. Look at that, John. That might be the craziest guest we've ever had.
I find them fascinating because actually I kind of relate to some of the things he's saying. He's, as a comic, when you're doing comedy, most of the comics are brilliant people. They're not actually just the silly guy you see on stage for a few minutes. They're not that. They're usually brilliant people, and the more brilliant you are, the more crack you look to society. Basically. Oh, he's good. He's back. There you go.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. And remember, people would do impressions. People would do, I learned to do all my impressions basically by watching people on stage, do theirs. When I used to watch Robin at the Comedy Store, he used to tear the place to shreds, and nobody wanted to follow Robin. Nobody wanted to follow Robin.
Too high energy. He was manic.
And when I was in the improv class, see, I had Harvey Lembeck as my improv teacher, and that was Robin's teacher. Harvey was everybody's improv teacher. He was Robin's and mine, and I refused. Nobody wanted to take Robin's class. Nobody. Because he'll clobber you. Nobody wanted to take Robin's class. Nobody wanted to be in Robin's class. I always take the one on a different day because I used to watch Robin argue with Harvey in 4 different languages.
Wow.
And you're like,
I didn't even know.
What the hell? I can't. How am I supposed to compete with that? You're crazy. So I chose noises.
Where do you live, Michael? Are you in California?
No, we're having a good time. I'm in the Southeast.
Nice.
So we're having a good time with it. We're trying to figure out whether we're going to be okay or whether we're going to go. We don't know what we're going to do yet.
You don't know what you're doing.
We're trying to figure it out.
Well, it's all good. Wherever, as long as you're healthy, you make it. Did you actually think?
Meanwhile, in Miami.
Did you think?
We still don't know what the hell we're doing.
I know, but did you actually believe that your career, when you first started, you were living in a car like that? Did you actually believe that you'd have this success with what you were doing? Did you believe in yourself, or you feel you got lucky, or you worked really hard to get there? What is your path in relation to beginning to now?
I kind of figured when I first tried this, well, you know what? I'll try it for a summer. If this doesn't work, I can always just go home. I can just hitchhike back home and go back to school. And I've been working on this ever since. This begins my 40th year.
Wow.
That's
Now,
wonderful.
John,
you get to go to different countries. You get to meet people. You get to do things. You'd be surprised what making noises can do. Because just by accident, I'm part of a wave that created beatbox.
You're the only guy I know that does this.
Police Academy movie, and the world finally got to see what beatbox was, and it had been around for a while.
So actually, you brought it into light by that movie.
And that was the first time an international audience had ever seen beatbox.
Yeah.
Were you excited when you first got that movie? You were real excited, like this is going to be the greatest thing ever, or you didn't know what to expect? I mean, you could not imagine that.
Police Academy was the last film of a dissolved production pack that got renewed a little bit, because the last film, because the Light Company had these films that were coming out, and some of them were doing okay, but a lot of them were not, and they were getting ready to wrap the whole thing up, because Dorothy Stratton's Star 80 didn't do well, and The Right Stuff, the rocket movie, the John Glenn rocket movie, didn't do well, and they'd spent all that money on that, and suddenly Police Academy showed up and paid and it just wrote off everything and made a profit.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Out of nowhere.
That's Steve Gutenberg.
This was a $5.3 million budget, which in Canadian dollars came out to 6 point something. It gave them a little extra money to spend. So Toronto, you got this $5 million picture, which 5 point something, which came to 6. It gave them just enough money to finish this movie.
Wow.
Steve Gutenberg is a big draw, man. Now, John, we sit here and talk about the movies that we were watching. I'd be curious. Throw up a couple movies and see what Mike thinks of these movies. Not the Police Academy movies, but the other movies.
You're not going to run Ginger Clown, are you?
No. Not tonight.
I was in that one with Tim Curry. That movie wasn't released; it escaped.
it was that difficult, huh? This you're going to
made it in Bulgaria. It was ooh-wee. Thank goodness it was just a voiceover.
How about this?
Oh, the jerk. That is a classic genius film. Now, Steve Martin himself is a genius for even coming up with something like this. In fact, this movie came in under budget because he was so efficient, and they were so efficient with the way that they made the film that they were actually able to return a certain percentage of the budget back to the studio, and they loved him for it. At least that's the story. Yeah, this movie starred Mabel King as his mother.
Right, that's correct.
I remember Steve Martin he was dancing on the edges of issues regarding people and race even back then.
True.
Because remember, he was raised as a poor black child.
Yep,
that's correct.
He pulled it in.
I was born a small black child.
He pulled it off, and we got to see a very young and very, very gorgeous Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
We got to see Harvey Mason. Oh, what do you think you're doing? Oh,
Jackie Mason.
He's got
Jackie Mason.
He's verklempt and he's crazy.
Pretty good.
I learned how to do that just by watching the Steve Martin movies, man.
Harry Hartunian. That was it. Harry. Hey, Harry. This guy hates these cans.
And then the guy that goes, his glasses goes, oh my God, I can't get this. Damn these glasses. Yes, sir. Give me those. I damn thee.
Bill Macy. Bill Macy from Maude was that guy.
You see what I mean? A lot of people's careers were catching fire already, and it kind of pushed things along. See, the Jerk kind of rakes along with the Blazing Saddles and other films that were just wrong.
Are you a big fan of that?
You couldn't make Blazing Saddles today. You could make it today.
Mel said that. Mel said that, and I kept trying to send him emails, saying there's a way. He goes, I don't want to hear it. There's no way. You couldn't do something else because the Arabs, everybody would sue us. He said, yeah, but put the lawsuit in the movie. Have the trial taking place while you're making the damn movie, and people picketing you in the movie. No, don't tempt me.
Wow. You know what's amazing too? I'm looking here. If you look at his list of, I mean, we're not stroking you here, but when you look at his filmography list here, from all the way from the 80s,
a couple overseas ones too.
I know, but it's you. I mean, I'm not going to bring up Ginger Crowd, but you're looking at his list.
That was so stupid. It was weird. Bulgarians trying to have American accents is the funniest thing ever. It is bad, but it's just wonderful.
I'm looking here. You looking at Cheech and Chong's next movie, Underground Aces, Nice Dreams.
Yeah, man, that was in our movie, man.
Hey, man, that dude was 4 hours, man.
Yeah, he was pretty good, man.
You did the voice in Gremlins.
Yeah, I was one of many Gremlins. I think I was stripe number 3 or number 2 or number 3.
That's funny, man. I seen all these movies.
My scene was when I was going.
This is tickle,
Wow.
And
Gizmo Gaga.
You were shocked.
I was allowed to talk about it. I had to sign a release not to talk about it because it was all under an.
Really?
Oh no, you couldn't talk about it.
Huh. Renaissance.
I didn't know.
Killing Hasselhoff. I mean, you look at the list. It's endless list. I mean, who would believe
that was the last, like crazy thing. It was with Ken Jeong, me and John Lovitz and David Hasselhoff.
He's
Ken
funny.
Jeong and Gina Lee Nolan was in it. I think Hulk showed up for a second.
Wow.
Kid Cudi was in it. Harvey Mandel was in it. And the car showed up for a second and insulted him. It was great. Even the car talks a bunch of mess, man. Even the car insulted him, I thought that was a nice touch.
How was it being Police Academy?
And basically it was celebrity death pool. Who's the next celebrity that's going to die? And we all bet Hasselhoff.
He was drinking heavily.
Well, of course, Ken Jeong, the character. Ken Jeong's character. He owns a brand new club that just opened and it burns overnight. So he owes the 40-inch necks about $250,000, and they find out about this Hasselhoff thing. They say, "Hey, we want a piece of that." So everybody's trying to kill.
Well, I didn't know that was the name. I didn't know it was the premise. I didn't know that.
Celebrity death pool. Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
Walt, that's something else we got to catch up on. But you know what I'm thinking now? What about when you first?
Wrong, man.
Yeah. The first Police Academy, you work with some really major people in there. Matter of fact, what's her name from Sex and the City went on to become huge. I mean, she.
Oh yeah, that's
Kim Cattrall.
Yeah,
Kim Cattrall.
Beautiful Kim.
She was in Porky's too.
She's great. Man.
How was she to you?
Very, very nice. She was just like me. We were just overwhelmed with the enormity of the production. We were just there. We were just trying to figure out a way how the hell to get through the day, not look stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is a major feature film. And
sure.
I've done some productions, but nothing on this scale yet.
Who could imagine though that you would do that film and suddenly there's several more after? Who would imagine?
Our eyes are wide open. I thought this will enable me not to live in my car anymore for a while.
Wow. You see, nobody knows that. You see, nobody realizes how difficult it really is to get into showbiz and how the ups and downs really are. No one gets it, and everyone only sees the success. They don't see the guys that fell through the wayside on the way up and never.
In 78, I landed in L.A. and I was living on the beach in Venice. And
he had a nice car, though. He had a nice car.
I ended up winning the Gong Show of all things, and I was able to get enough money to buy a car to live in. So I had a 1969.
Was that fixed? Was the Gong Show fixed?
Fixed? Why would it be fixed?
I don't know. I mean, how could you tell who could win?
It was a three-way tie between me, somebody else, and a 97-year-old tap dancer.
I remember that.
Yeah,
and the weird part was to even get to the audition for the Gong Show, I had to take a bus for 3 hours to get to North Hollywood to play the Palomino Club and I didn't know I was auditioning the country club in the country western club in North Hollywood. called the Palomino Club, and that place is where they had like sawdust floors because fights would break out every night. If there wasn't a fight, something was wrong every night. So I ended up winning that night, and they asked me to come in and read and audition for the Gong Show. Who knew that Chuck Barris's band, the Palomino Riders, was the house band? In fact, all those Burt Reynolds fight movies took place in the Palomino Club. Hooper, all those movies took place in the Palomino Club. And they had this 470-pound guy named Tiny at the door. He would scream at
Tiny
you.
Lister?
Tiny
Lister?
I just want to audition.
Better be funny. Jesus.
I found the clip. If you want to see the clip, you want to play that clip? I'll play it.
Go ahead.
You ready? It's the Michael Winslow. Let's see. All right, here it is. I want to make sure I share the audio with it. There it is.
Sit and state it.
Oh, this is the wrong clip.
No, that's the beatbox one.
Yeah.
First time beatbox was ever seen.
Which is great to even see that too.
I had an afro.
Mike, you had an afro in a lot of the movies.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it now. It's just so hot. It's just so.
No, sir. No, like you. That's terrific. Really. What's your name? Jones.
I like Gutenberg.
I also love to mess with it with some people that write the subtitles for movies, because if you look at the subtitle, it'll say turns razor on, turns razor off, and there's no razor.
Oh, really?
Because in the subtitles it says razor goes out of control, and it says electric razor goes out of control, but there ain't no electric razor. So I'm messing even with the subtitle people's head.
Check this out here. This is that thing that we were just speaking about just a moment ago. That is yourself on the actual Gong Show.
No, that's the second Gong Show.
Second, yeah.
Now that's the Don Herron show. There you go.
Oh, it is Don Herron show. You're right.
Yeah, the Gong Show would have a big
84.
I still have an afro. Wow. And I had a Michael Jackson jacket. That's good. That's good.
Looks like a members only jacket.
Yeah, it was so wonderful having one.
John, we can't hear that.
I think when I was a kid, I used to think when I was walking around, when I was finally getting into the business, I actually ran into Michael Jackson at the Natural Harvester Health Food Store on Bento Boulevard.
Get out of here, really?
And he had it was his Quincy Jones days when he was doing Off the Wall, and he was still wearing a cowboy hat back then.
Wow, bizarro.
And Michael kept on. Man, you are so weird, man. You're just so crazy. And I would think, well, maybe when Michael's not around, he goes, "Oh yeah, maybe that's what I am, Michael." You know, I didn't know.
You know, it's amazing.
When you make noises, you run into people.
Yeah. What's amazing is that he has all of these people that he's run into, and he tells the story about Michael Jackson, and he tells the story about Steve Gutenberg and all of this. And our story is going to be, we talk to Michael Winslow.
Basically, yeah. Tim Kazurinsky says, how you say that?
Kazurinsky?
Kazurinsky.
Yeah. You
Oh,
remember
sure.
working with him?
Yep. I know. I haven't spoken to Tim in a while. Last time I spoke to him, he was doing some stuff on a traveling Broadway show. This is a long time before the COVID thing even happened. He was actually cast as the Cowardly Lion in
Wizard of Oz?
Not the Wizard of Oz. What's the one that's out now? The one.
Wicked.
Wicked. Yeah, he was the Cowardly Lion in Wicked, and because he has a Broadway background, he can sing and everything else. So
he's got to be old though.
He's got to
be up there.
He was the Cowardly Lion. It was great, from what pictures I saw. So
yeah, he's up there.
I'd seen that, and I hadn't spoken to him. I think we had talked online once after George Gaines had passed away.
Oh, now this lady, first one. This was Police Academy 1 with this great Hooters. I mean,
that was one, and the one where we're sergeants. That's like 3 or 4.
I remember as soon as they came on the screen, obviously they wanted to pronounce this lady's breast because I mean it was like you didn't look at her head. She just popped out and it was like, oh my goodness, like what's that all about?
Yeah,
Wait a minute, there was a lady there?
One size smaller than she should be wearing. They gave her one size too small. Yeah, they learned from the record labels how to shoot those album jacket covers.
How about this movie? I Want You, Stripes.
Police Academy in the Army.
Yeah.
Because the Hulka, Sergeant Hulka was great.
Sergeant Hulka.
They had just the right balance between him and
John Candy.
And John Candy. They had just the right balance. The balance was perfect between
Harold Ramis.
Yeah, and they were able to figure out a way to like, you know, weave everybody in together, and each of them had their own moments to be the geeky guys they were, and the girls too.
It was in that. John LaRoquette was in that. He was
commander. He was the commander that got sent to Alaska, that Alaska satellite
at the end. Siberia.
How about this baby? Saturday Night Fever.
Oh yeah. When I saw Saturday Night Fever, a lot of music was heading that way because you know Bee Gees were already the Bee Gees. You know they were it just put them in stratosphere.
They didn't want to do it. They actually,
but other records came out and other people started to do their own thing because don't forget the Cramps with Burn Baby Burn.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Disco Inferno.
And Disco Inferno. Everybody knows that song in your head. You say, don't sing it. Don't do it. Ended up being a joke on Nash Bridges.
That whole double album was awesome. It's
and then Chic with Nile Rodgers came out.
Yeah.
Because and then Studio 54 and it was a whole thing of Donna Summer. And
I had that down at the Seaside Heights Boardwalk. I won a gigantic mirror of that poster, and I had that above my bed. I still have it above my bed
because that thing's probably worth its weight. It's worth a lot because it's a classic. There are no more of them.
Donna Summer was big too. Donna Summer. I remember
you'd be surprised at the stuff that affects you. You know when you're there because right then also in terms of rock, disco was then, but then it was Blue Oyster Cult and Boz Scaggs.
Yeah, Boz Scaggs was the bomb.
The Steve Miller Band and Fire.
You know, Bob Scaggs' music was the inspiration, and actually they wanted to use his originally for the movie Saturday Night Live, and then eventually they went to the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees turned it down several times, but
Saturday Night Fever.
So yeah, Saturday Night Fever. So when Saturday Night Fever was going on, when they were doing the disco dance on that light up floor, they were doing it to Boz Scaggs' music until they made the deal.
Not know that.
Yeah,
that would be nice if somebody would put the Boz Scaggs. I wonder who song.
Great song.
The Lido Shuffle.
The lowdown. Lowdown. Put that on during Saturday Night Fever and see it's a different kind of cool.
Well, you do that. You told me to do it tonight. You should lay down that track in front of it. See what it looks like because that's what they practice to. Believe it or not.
See, I'm the kind of person, you know, because I was a forward stage soundtrack person. I never had problems. As I said, I never had problems, you know, doing westerns. Because people, you know, improv people would hate that. They would do westerns, and you couldn't do them because it's just minutes and minutes and minutes of horses galloping and wagons and people shooting back and forth, and that doesn't bother me at all. I can do 10 minutes of shooting at bacon, so it doesn't bother me. So hearing these soundtracks, they all affected me because towards the end of it, when I was in high school, Fleetwood Mac was just like catching on fire.
Yeah.
And everybody looked at Stevie Nicks and went, you know.
But he might, you know.
Push in the bush.
You knew that voice, and anyway, you knew those voices.
Yeah, Push in the Bush was a great song too.
Oh yeah.
Was that music? Who sang that? Music?
Push in the bush.
You know,
oh no! Stop it! My brain is bleeding.
But Michael, you must have a really good sound. You could probably hear really good sound. Like in other words, I play the piano, so if I hear somebody play something, I go, "Oh yeah, that's key of C." I can hear it's F. I can hear it's G. You must have that really clear understanding of sound that when you hear something, you'll be able to reproduce it.
You have to try your best to be on key because do the best you can. Try your best because I hear it in my head. Because I was a George Martin fan. You know, the Beatles were the Beatles, but Martin produced other people. But his thing was, it's each individual sound. Before you get to the orchestra, you have to make sure each and every sound is individually tuned to be what it's supposed to be, the best it can be. Then you put them all together. So
Yeah.
I was a Beatles fan. I was a George Martin fan of the Beatles for a while then.
And what about the vocals? Are the vocals still strong to this day? Because my voice has dropped. As we all age, we get a little dropping. Has that changed your vocals?
That was your balls, John. That's your balls.
Sorry
not
about
your
that. Thank you, Walt.
I like that joke, matey. Things do change. There's some sounds that I can still do, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not damage myself in the process. It's like when you're practicing martial arts. The master knows just how much energy to use, as opposed to the young one who will use as much energy as possible to put himself in whatever position he wants to be. Whereas the master uses just enough. With some
See that? He's got it down to a science. You've been doing it for so long, you understand it. Yeah, you get it.
Didn't eat wheat germ. Gotta eat wheat germ for the vocal cords.
Danielson, you do much TV.
See how quick he does that? John, you should be learning something from him. He
do
does a little
You gotta
sound.
do some noises. This will be good. You know what? I'm sure your fans. I'm sure your watchers and listeners would love to hear you all do some noises.
Let's do a noise, Walt. Let's do it.
Go ahead, pick something. Do your thing.
I did it before. I did Popeye. Oh, go 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 go. That's what.
Popeye, not bad.
Yeah,
Popeye.
Oh, Popeye!
That was the crazy one that played. What was that name? That played next to Robin Williams. Olive oil. Shelley Duvall.
Chili.
She went nuts that one.
Olive oil.
Walt, how about this?
Disaster. I tell you, it's a disaster. I tell you.
That's as close as I get. I got to hold my nose.
You know I love doing Ray Romano. You know I do red.
Do that little high register.
A little higher.
Yeah.
All right, that's disaster. I tell you, it's disaster.
Yeah, and what you call really exaggerate the accent. One more time.
All right, here we go.
I tell you, disaster. I tell you, it's disaster. Okay, so we have to do it. We're gonna do this
I don't even know who this is.
That was good.
Very good. It's very good. It's very good.
Now, do Gilbert Godfrey.
Let me tell you something. I was talking to my friend the other day.
You see?
Now I could do Gilbert Gottfried.
See, you both got it. You see what I mean? You both pay attention. You both got it. Because that's when it comes to voices and sound. You got it.
Because it's 9:30 and we gotta go. It's gotta be an end of the show.
Michael,
I'll try. Let me try one.
Okay, what do I have to sit here and watch these guys fart on camera for?
See?
Excellent. It's very good. And
we just got set up there, John.
I got his voice because he's so much fun to work with.
One
time, it was me and Gilbert Godfrey. We were opening for the Ramones.
I love the Ramones. And I'm a Ramones guy.
Me too.
It was me, Gilbert Godfrey, Toots and the Maytals, and the Ramones.
Boy, you name drop a lot, man. He does. He name drops.
He's I don't know if this is true or not, but did you do a tour of 3 months or 6 months or something with, I believe it was one of my favorite writers.
Kanuta.
No, not Judy. One of my favorite comic writers. I think he's one of the greatest writers in the whole entire business, actually.
Mike Morse? Was it Mike Morse?
No, it wasn't Mike. Mike is a great writer. No, the guy who was like, I'm losing it. Bob's grew up with him. He's from Chicago.
Bob Zamuda?
No. This now it's going to drive me nuts.
That's actually a pirate joke.
It's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah. You never heard that?
What's the
pirate joke? You ever heard that joke?
No, go ahead.
A pirate walks into a bar. The pirate, pirate with a violin walks in the bar. He goes, "Arr, matey, arr! I be the pork skin fiddler, and I want me a drink. Arr!" Everybody goes, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." The bartender says, "Ahoy, pirate! Come over here. I have a question to ask you. I I'm on my way, matey. What be your question? What do you want? How do you want? What's your question? Why do you have a steering wheel attached to your pants? It drives me nuts.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
John, I'm going to use that with you and Jackie show Monday.
Okay. You can bring Colin with that.
Jackie Marling, I bet you he knows that joke.
He knows every joke. That reminds me of the joke about what's the name when Princess Di gets in the car crash and goes to heaven, and she sees the nun, and the nun says to her, she has a halo around her head. You know, he's walking around with the halos. They have actually wings on them. They have these halos on them. And she walks over to St. Peter. She goes, St. Peter, I don't understand. I'm Princess Di. I need to get something special too. And she goes over to the nun. And the nun's like, what do you have? And she goes, I have wings. And she says, how come Princess Di has a halo over her head like that? And then whatever it is says, oh, that's not a halo. That's a steering wheel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Oh,
I know. Wow. John, you forget to go.
That was cold, man. Damn, man, that was really cold-blooded, man.
I actually destroyed that joke. I destroyed it.
You destroyed that.
Yeah, all over with it, trying to figure it out as I'm going through
That
it.
was horrible.
Yeah, it's a horrible joke.
You ever hear the duck joke?
No, the duck. What's a duck joke?
Duck walks into a bar. This is my Stallone impression. Okay.
Okay.
Duck walks into a bar.
Hey, really? I'm really hungry. I'd like some grapes. You some grapes? Really hungry. I could use some grapes.
Hey, Doc. This is a bar. We ain't got no grapes. Oh, we got stuff to drink.
I want some grapes. I could use some grapes. I really like grapes.
Yeah, I just told you, we ain't got no grapes. We got beer, we got wine.
I like some grapes.
Hey, look, hey. You ask for grapes one more freaking time, I'm gonna nail your little feet to the bar. You understand?
Yeah. You have any tools?
No, I ain't got no tools.
Good. Got any grapes? I want some grapes. Here's some grapes.
It's a great joke. It's a great joke.
See, I know that joke without the sound effects.
And the sound effects make the whole joke bigger. It makes it nice and large. You know, I like.
He's like BASF.
Noise
Takes the joke and makes it better.
Jokes.
We love jokes. We love jokes. Jokes of any
You
kind.
should get him on with you and Jackie on Monday.
Yeah, actually, you and Paxi, Jackie would be fun. We come on Monday nights. We do Jackie and we do show Stump the Joke Men, and we tell jokes basically.
And maybe I could put sound effects to him while he's doing them.
Works for me. Anytime you want, would be great.
I gotta be honest.
They're so wrong. They're so wrong.
I gotta be honest. That'll probably piss Jackie off.
Yeah.
He was like, "Who is this guy? Get him off the air."
I like the Gilbert one. Wow, you've been a wonderful guest tonight, Mr.
You've been wonderful.
I
do the Ray Romano. It's almost time to go.
Hey, so speaking of which, before we do get out of here, because we went way over, but we want to thank you for coming on here. And Michael, if people want to get in touch with you, I understand that you have products that you sell right here at the michaelwinslowstore.com. And what can we expect from there?
There's no V. It's just Michael Winslow Store.
michaelwinslowstore.com.
We got things. We have some noisy. I'm working on some new items, but a lot of folks love the Balls in Space T-shirt. They love the Kung Fu Jones.
Cool.
Stuff. And they love the fanny packs, hoodies, because it's going to get cold sooner or later. And we have backpacks. We have all kinds of stuff. You know what? It may not be able to go outside, but you can look good.
What about face masks? Can we get any face masks on Michael
I'm working
Winslow?
on some noise. I'm working on some Noisy Man face masks, and I have some designs that I'm going to talk about coming up real soon. But those will be coming soon. I'm just trying to figure out how I can get the coffee filter in there.
You can see it right here. This is what's actually on when you look at it at the michaelwinslowstore.com. He has
those buttons. There's even a cyber noise journal you can get for yourself.
a cyber noise journal. I don't see that on here. Let's see. I got T-shirts. Let's see. Apparel, headgear. You're selling headgear.
Yeah, the cyber noise journal. There it is.
Which one is that? Right there. Oh, there. Look at this. Look at this. That is so cool. Wow.
And you know, this is a little bit of something for everybody. I'm working on the masks right now. Only thing I'm trying to figure out is how I'm going to stuff that coffee filter inside of there because I have to put more layers. So
That is so cool, man.
so
You
if there's a way I could stick it. Well, I may have to switch to an oil filter, but you can't breathe, so coffee filter might be better. Coarse versus fine. I'm still working on it.
it's coming
Mike,
along good.
you should take your time.
I have to have mad scientists help me figure that out.
And
yeah,
also,
take your time, Mike. Don't get them out while COVID's here. Wait till it's all done, then put those out.
Yeah,
also,
right.
Michael has a YouTube channel, which I believe is michaelwinslowstore.com. And then also the YouTube is it's youtube.com, Michael Winslow TV.
Michael Winslow TV, and
Right.
it's. I promise you, you have to understand. My job is to help everybody forget about the rent for an hour.
What do we do when it comes due?
Well,
You got to worry about it again.
You better make some money noises too. Make some cash noises. You know, you just work. We're gonna get through this, but this is such an unwritten territorial.
It really is.
Unwritten territory. I don't even think our grandparents had much to tell us. You know, that could help us with all this. This is a new book.
Yeah, it is a new world, and we're going into it. And you want to know something? It's people like yourself that are making the one thing that they can't take away from us. They could take away, you can make you stay in the house, they could send you a check, they could do all kinds of things, they could take away your job, your business, but they can't take away your sense of humor. It's the most important thing that we own.
When I used to watch the old Bobby Darin show, and he did that poem as a bongo guy. You can run from your friends, you can run from the police, but you can never run away from your feet. You know. So, by the way, Noisecast. That's the other thing is Noisecast.
Noisecast, yeah.
Which is available everywhere. You can get it on the Apple podcast thing. I think it's also on Spotify. But it's called Noisecast with a Z.
Noisecast with a Z. I would imagine you have a ringtone.
Normal, not on my channel because
No?
normal is overrated without sauce.
I love it.
And Cameo too. He does cameos.
What is it on Cameo? Is it cameo.com/Michael Winslow?
You'll find me. Just
search your name in there.
I'm VM, celebrity VM. I'm everywhere.
I think the
It's a
best
big
is right here.
VM. I'm everywhere. So
That's the place.
we try to cover everybody. So
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
and
I had
I
fun. I had fun.
folks, practice your noises and come see us again. I'm around. MichaelWinslowMedia.com, Michael Winslow Store. Just come see me. And
in 2021, I'm sure you'll be on the road, right?
We will get there. I'm working on some things right now.
Very good.
I was going to do a Guinness Book of World Records thing, but all that's been thrown into the wind, and will probably land next year. But
Yeah.
I was going to do a Guinness Book thing.
That'd be cool.
50 shows in 50 states in less than 50 days.
Well, I want to be the opening act. I'll be there.
Hey, you know what? I'll take all the help I can get. So
I'll be there. Hey, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
I know
Mike.
you're busy, and we appreciate you coming on and doing the show. And you know something, for a guy that makes a lot of different sounds, you have a lot more going on in your head than we believe. So I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate that.
There he is, the mouse.
Oh no.
Mouse, 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 mouse.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
Mouse, mouse.
We'll see you guys next week on the cool crap that we love. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to close this. Here we go. Take care, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Stay well. Stay healthy. Stay happy. What's will happen. Thanks.
Like us on Facebook
And subscribe.
and subscribe to YouTube.
I'm on Facebook too. So check me out on Facebook. Michael Winslow Official.
Official. Gotcha. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. It's been too much fun. I can't wait to do it again. Ciao for now.